Hello guys, welcome to Chasing a Murder Talking News. Please take a moment to subscribe, hit the like button, or hit that notification bell. That way you can get notifications whenever we have new uploads. So guys, I am so sorry that I hope everybody had a great holiday. And we actually did have a good holiday until we got news that my brother-in-law actually passed away very quickly. And maybe one day I'll take time to go over that story with you, but I'm kind of trying to push that aside for right now. Even kind of deactivated my Facebook for now, just to kind of not look at that for now. So there is a story that we covered here on this channel, and it was one of my first stories that I ever covered, and it had to do with Kelsey Berreth. And for those of you that are still here that subscribed, you were my first subscribers, and we covered this story, and this is one of the stories I knew pretty darn well. But it's been a while since I was taking a look at it, and I was thinking about Kelsey. It's about that time of year, and you know, it was in November, but you know, Thanksgiving, that Kelsey Berreth went missing. And so when Thanksgiving come along, I started thinking about Kelsey Berreth and her family. Kelsey Berreth went missing right after Thanksgiving, and actually on Thanksgiving Day, when you start looking at the evidence. This is one of the coldest cases. And I don't mean like cold they can't figure it out. I mean like cold acts that I've seen. I mean, it was just so cold and evil. So a man who lived in Colorado by the name of Patrick Frazee. I'm going to give you a quick update for those of you who have not heard this story. I'm not going to give you all the little towns and stuff. You can check them out on my older videos. He was dating a beautiful girl. She was a pilot. Her name was Kelsey Berreth. They had met online. She had moved to Colorado to be close to him, but there was something strange going on in that relationship. And she was living in a townhome that she bought herself while he remained to live with his mother on a ranch. They had dated quite a while. She gets pregnant, and she has a beautiful daughter with this guy. And as that little girl approached a year old, at Thanksgiving approached, there was some evil plotting going on behind her back. Patrick Frazee had a friend, and some say mistress, that he has known for 15 years or more. Her name was Krystal Kenney. She was a nurse. She had actually been a rodeo queen, I guess is what they call it. And the affidavits that I got and the documentation at the very beginning said something different than it did later. So in the first paperwork, it said that Krystal Kenney had actually talked to Patrick Frazee and about taking out his fiancée, Kelsey Berreth. And he wanted to do this because he was worried that she was abusing the baby, which was absolute lie. And in those first documents, she stated that she had actually given Patrick Frazee the suggestion of poisoning something that, like her favorite drink. Makes sense. A lot of women have been known to poison that we know are murderers. If you go back and look, they're very famous for using poison. But later she claims that this was all completely Patrick Frazee's idea. This is strange because she actually attempted to take Kelsey Berreth's life by posing as a friend one time, buying her favorite coffee, knocked on her door, handed her this coffee, and she says she didn't poison it, but we don't know that. Let's think about it. If we had somebody come knock at our door just randomly and offer us our very favorite drink, number one, that would be kind of strange. It would throw some flags. Most likely, Kelsey Berreth probably poured that down to the sink, so we never know if she actually tried to poison her or not. But according to this nurse, the mistress of Patrick Frazee, says, no, I didn't put any poison in it. I chickened out. She says that Patrick Frazee got mad at her, and so she did a second attempt on Kelsey Berreth's life, and she backed out. At this point, after several more attempts after that, Patrick Frazee says, I'll just do it myself. And he does. And how he does it is he meets up with his fiancée, Kelsey Berreth, at her townhome on Thanksgiving Day. I'm leaving out a lot of details, guys. You'll have to go to my old videos. And he tells her that they're going to play a game. He's going to blindfold her. The baby's in the townhome, supposedly in another room. And they're going to, smell some scented candles or something. At that point, he takes a bat and he bludgeoned Kelsey Berreth to death. And so he calls this nurse, Krystal Kenney, tells her she's got a mess to clean up, and she gets her little cleanup kit, drives from Idaho to Colorado, many miles. She's already driven that route many times already, and cleans up this scene. She takes Kelsey Berreth's phone back to Idaho with her and disposes of the phone after texting her mother and her job. Long story short, guys, eventually they were caught. And Krystal Kenney tried to deny that she had anything to do with this at the beginning, but later ended up making a plea deal, which the attorneys claim was a deal with the devil, saying if she gives up some information, she'll only get 3 years. So she does this. She takes the investigators and shows them everything in the townhome. She shows them where they stored Kelsey Berreth's body for a period of time on Thanksgiving. Shows them bloodstains that they missed in the townhome itself. She shows them also where Patrick Frazee burnt the remains of this woman in his own yard. Now, a lot of people were very upset that this plea deal only gave Krystal Kenney 3 years behind bars. Patrick Frazee was found guilty, and I can't remember his exact sentence, but he won't ever be getting out of jail, so that's good. But a lot of people were not happy with the sentencing of Krystal Kenney, and I wanted to go over some new information with her. It's not exactly new, but it's new for me because I haven't had time to update. So we know that Krystal Kenney is behind bars. And we know that her attorney seems to be, when the pandemic started hitting pretty hard, decided to try to fight and get Kenney from behind bars and into a halfway home. So according to a few articles, they're saying that the attorney thought while the whole world had their heads turned, occupied with this coronavirus pandemic, let's just do this. So they think the world wouldn't be watching, and it would, help her out as far as if people didn't have petitions and screaming and yelling for her to stay behind bars, because that's what would happen if people heard that she was going to fight to get out from behind bars. So a few people did create this petition when they found out. And we hear that Kelsey Berreth's family, actually this caught their attention, and they thanked these people that created this petition, and they were relieved to see people were, fighting for Kelsey Berreth. We know that Kelsey Berreth's body still hasn't been found, and most likely won't, considering the way that they disposed of her. And so here's that letter if you would like to read over it. Have the first page of it anyway. I'm not thinking too straight tonight, guys. So people were paying attention. I mean, people are wanting to see justice, and it just seems like justice is getting harder and harder to reach on a lot of cases. And you see this like with the Savannah Spurlock. There's actually an update on her as well. It seems that David Sparks he went to court and he pled guilty on all charges. So this means that he'll get about 50 years. I don't have that in front of me right now, and I'll try to do an update on this. 50 years, which means about 20 years behind bars for the most horrible act that he committed on a young mother of twins. Savannah Spurlock was the girl that went out to the bar in Kentucky for a good time, and she never returned home after telling her mother she would return home shortly. Her mom tried to reach her daughter about 8:30 that morning, and her phone was off. It took police forever to try to find out what happened to Savannah Spurlock. And what's strange about this is she was just right under their nose the entire time. While David Sparks took this girl to one house, and then after he killed her, he moved her to his parents' house, where he buried her very shallow in their yard. And David's parents went out to that property and they smelt this horrid smell, and they decided to do what was right, thank God. They contacted David's attorney, and from there, the police, and they got a search warrant, and of course, they found the missing Savannah Spurlock, the young mom. There were several other men that night that was actually with David Sparks. There was actually 3 men altogether. They left the bar with Savannah Spurlock, but only 1 man is behind bars. And what kills me the most is, yes, he might have said, pled guilty, so that's a plus in some way. But considering what they found and everything, 50 years, it's hard to believe that's all they got out of this. David Sparks will actually have his sentencing date, I think it's December 17th. So you can be looking for that one. I know I will. But I didn't finish what I was talking about, did I? I told you guys my mind's not too great tonight, so you'll have to excuse that. So justice, we're starting to see justice, and we're starting to see, these people show up in court and get their sentencing finally. We still have so many of our girls that still haven't gotten their sentencing, which, guys like Malia Davis, we still haven't got anything new on that one. CupCake, still nothing new on that one. Andreen McDonald, and that has a lot more story too that I haven't had time to get to, and I know some of you know what I'm talking about. Turns out that Andreen McDonald's husband, which killed her, if you don't know the story, you'll refer to my older videos. They're finding out that the nut doesn't fall far from the tree, because in Jamaica, where they're from, the father was suspected of killing 2 people. And it wasn't that long ago that he killed his newest wife. And they're actually pressing charges on him. I don't know what's going on with that right now. I want to know, but I just haven't had time. So it seems that Andreen McDonald's husband, Andre, must have seen some pretty violent behavior growing up. Now back to the Kelsey Berreth case. So with the Kelsey Berreth case, Krystal Kenney, she made an attempt to try to get out from behind bars. Luckily, the public sent letters saying that, look, what she did is just, she's already got a light enough sentence already. Lighter than it should be. And a lot of people they stepped up for Kelsey Berreth, and I'm excited about that. And they said no, she'll stay behind bars. She She doesn't deserve to be free in any way. She deserves to spend time behind bars. And if you kept up with this case, you would understand that that's more than acceptable. It's not just hating on her. It's true. She is spending very little time behind bars, considering the things that she did and the things that she was involved with on this case. So I just wanted to do a little bit of a teaser of what we're going to maybe go into pretty soon. You know, some updates on these stories and talk about what I've heard about, you know, in a quick way. I really wasn't able to focus the past few days, so hopefully that I can focus a little bit more soon. So guys, yes, I'm very excited to see that we're finally seeing some of these cases go to court. It's about time. Anyways, guys, I love you guys so much. Don't forget to take a look at these faces right here. These girls are still missing. And Kiera Coles and so many of them are still, they have not even been found, or they haven't even found the people responsible. So it's heartbreaking to see that they're still here. We're working on 2 years for some of these people. Anyways, guys, can't think too good today. So love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.